Calling the Creve Coeur Board of Education regular meeting for September 17th to order. Do you mind standing for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please.
Sheree Archdale, absent. Linda Bailey. Here. Michelle Franklin. Here. Rebecca Kern. Here. Julie Troop.
Here.
Judy Strong, present, and Charles Thomas.
Here. This time we will take comments from the audience on action items.
James Hour, 650 Justin Street. Since we're going to be talking about the Parent Club bank statement, I wanted to know if the audit was done on the South Parent Club account, and will Ms. Davis be turning the money back over to the Parent Club as she stated she would do this year? Then, for the letter Ms. Davis received on May 16th, the attorneys advised her per policy that all meaningful provisions pertaining to oversight of PTOs by the board have been eliminated. So therefore, I got from it that she doesn't have a right to take over any of the Parent Club money. And have all the board members read that letter that was received from the attorney? And also, pertaining to Parent Club money, why are the LaSalle teachers having to write a narrative and turn in receipts to receive their startup money when Parkview teachers didn't have to do that? And that they were given their $100 last school year for this school year, and why didn't Ms. Davis allow Parkview to do this while telling LaSalle that they couldn't give money for the following school year? And why did Parkview not have to follow policy? And since the treasurer is also a board member, how did she not know that what they were doing was wrong?
Thank you. Any other comments on the action items? Mr. Giddens?
Randy Giddens, 821 South Creve Coeur Avenue. Also comments about the South Parent Club. I asked for copies of all communications and documents that involve the South and Parkview School Parents Clubs. The documents show that 3 board members contacted the superintendent to transfer the South School Parent Club's money immediately in April. That is why they removed 3 Parent Club members' names from the LaSalle School Parent Club bank account and replaced them with building principal and bookkeeper in April. Finally, in May, the superintendent asked for a legal opinion. Shouldn't have asked for that legal opinion before he took any action. And the policy, in that, the attorney advised, second paragraph, policy 890 regulates the relationship between the Board of Education and PTOs. It appears Creve Coeur School Board has adopted policy 890. However, the version of that policy currently contained in the district's policy manual has been modified to such an extent that all meaningful provisions pertaining to oversight of PTOs by the board has been eliminated. Since the May 21 board meeting, you have been telling the community the local CPA is doing an audit and have no control over when the audit will be completed. In Ms. Davis' FOIA response dated July 30th, Ms. Davis explained there have been no written communications or documents between her and the local CPA. No documents were provided that show anyone is doing anything with club's accounts since April. Unless the superintendent missed any documents, the only 2 things done between April 2012 and July 30th, when I FOIA'd the information, was ask the attorney for an opinion in May, and the board voting in July to appoint 2 building principals, custodians over bank accounts, that school boards have no meaningful oversight. That's it, nothing else, including leaving the comments sections of your official minutes blank. Therefore, your board minutes are definitely misinformation to the public because several people took the time to attend meetings and made comments. Thank you.
Any other action items that someone would like to comment on?
For the Parents Club, I want to know how come my daughter brought home a popcorn paper to have popcorn day when that was something the Parents Club did.
State your name, please.
Desi Rudd, 120 Cole. something the parents club did, and I would like to know where that money's gonna go. And volunteers, I and myself and a few others have put in to volunteer. There was supposedly gonna be a sign-up sheet for every occasion, every holiday, everything, and there has been nothing. I have put in to volunteer and I have not received anything.
Is there any other comments on the action items?
No.
Moving on. Under the consent agenda, we'll just hit it real quick. Approval of payments list. Check 13638 has been voided. It was already taken care of. So the new amount will be $192,352.85.
What was the check number again, please?
13638. We're moving it.
Okay, that's the moving of the district office. Yes. To the south.
Did you get the amount?
I did.
Okay. Okay, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the consent agenda, removing check number 13638.
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion?
Do you have a treasurer's report?
He's on vacation.
And then would you want to amend the motion? Because the consent agenda includes the treasurer's report.
So we can amend the motion to include the board minutes and the payments list, and we will table the approval of the treasurer's report.
Roll call?
We have to have a second on
I second that.
Thank you.
Okay, discussion?
I already asked it once. Go ahead.
Thank you. I emailed, as we were told to do, Mrs. Davis, a list of questions. Would you like to go over that?
Sure,
Because
in order
we
to
have
maintain
answers.
transparency, Cherie and Linda emailed questions, so, I copy this for everyone, so they're aware of what the,
Did they get the questions too, or just the answers?
I got it.
I don't think, well, I think you would just assume that the labels, for instance, Alfax furniture was for Parkview student desks. You can read down that quickly, and if you don't understand something, I can address it. I don't think I have to read to you. There's quite a few things we tried to break down.
The pay request for Bishop's Brothers. I asked what the balance was due.
When was that, where was that?
13589, Bishop Brothers.
Yeah,
This
you
is
asked,
payment
was that
number one.
Bishop Brothers, the remaining balance is indicated. You know, that was a down payment of 33, yeah.
Okay, on the Kenyon and Associates, 13619. Homewood wasn't addressed. Homewood was on the list. Is this for the 10-year life safety study?
Homewood's on what list?
On the list for Kenyon, on one of the line
Maintenance
items.
grant application.
Right.
The 132032 is
So is
probably the life
life safety?
safety work that the $50,000 maintenance grant covers,
Okay,
but that's a 50-50 split.
right, and this is the architect. We have to have one by law to
You
proceed,
do not
correct?
have to have an architect for the maintenance grant report. you have to have an architect sign off on the energy grant. But he submitted via Midwest, the maintenance and, grant application. This was his fee for submitting.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know.
Yeah, this is not fee for work.
Anyone
That's it.
anyone else have anything? Roll call?
Linda Bailey,
No.
Michelle Franklin,
No.
Rebecca Kern,
Yes.
Julie True,
Yes.
Judy Strong, yes, Charles Thomas,
Yes.
motion carried.
Need a motion to approve the second reading?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the second reading and adoption of policies 4.60, 4.120, 5.280, 6.180, 6.235, 6.290, 7.50, 7.220, and 7.340.
Is there a second?
Second.
Discussion? Hearing none, roll call?
Linda Bailey,
Until this board starts following the policies that they're adopting, I'm voting no on anymore. You're not following the ones you have in the book and that you've already approved, so no.
Michelle Franklin,
No.
Rebecca Kern,
Yes.
Julie True,
Yes.
and Mrs. Bailey, I would address that,
Please do.
stating that those are policies that the State Board of Education believes we should be carrying. So that yields to why anything that was in the past maybe wasn't followed, because it
And-
was either unclear, unstated, and passed, and it was probably done by either you and your sister, or, and you didn't possibly research what the IASB suggests. So I do vote yes.
And you had a
Charles
year and a
Thomas.
half to fix them.
Charles Thomas,
Aye.
motion carried.
Need a motion to approve the applicants?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve adding applicants to the substitute teacher list.
Is there a second?
Applicant, I said plural, but it's not.
I second.
Discussion?
Again, are we going to add a name to the person you're hiring? Or placing on the list?
Should be.
Amend the motion to include the name Elizabeth Strunk. Strunk? Strunk. That's a separate motion.
Did you amend that?
I did.
Okay, is there a second on the amendment?
I second that.
Discussion? Roll call.
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Michelle Franklin,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern,
Aye.
Julie True,
Aye.
Judy Strong, yes, Charles Thomas,
Aye.
motion carried.
Need a motion to approve the adding of the applicant for
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve adding the applicant Deborah L. Guppy to the substitute cook playground list.
Is there a second?
I second.
Oh, I'm sorry. There are two.
I think we should have both.
I didn't realize there were two. We can do them,
Separate.
okay.
Discussion? Roll call?
Linda Bailey,
Aye.
Michelle Franklin,
Aye.
Rebecca Kern,
Aye.
Julie True,
Aye.
Judy Strong, yes, Charles Thomas,
Aye.
motion carried.
Who's next?
Mr. President, I make a motion to approve the applicant Jackie Rora to the substitute cook / playground list.
Is there a second?
A second.
Discussion?
One thing, we don't have her certification page with her signature date on the back of her application.
The last page with this.
It didn't print off.
No, in a copy.
Didn't copy.
I think, I don't know. Application signed and complete.
Unfortunately, she needs to fill that out properly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I think that she needs to be tabled until she fills out a complete application for someone and has a signature.
Well, it could have been the office, right?
That one, the last page didn't.
Right, it could have been the office, so
I mean,
it might not have been
she's
hers.
never had any other job though, ever.
She's got 3 references.
Yeah, I would like to table this until she fills out, we have a complete application.
Okay.
Second?
A second.
Discussion?
What motion is on the table?
On the table?
To table the
Laura?
application.
So we rescinded the first one?
No, second one.
Yes.
Okay. Okay, I need a discussion on 2011,
You have to
2012.
approve this.
We have to
Oh, that's
vote on
right,
it.
I'm sorry. Roll call. On the first one.
Okay, wait a minute.
Read the
I'm
motion back,
confused.
please.
What do you mean by the first one?
Ms. Guppy?
No, we already voted on that.
Okay, then we just rescind this one.
So we've rescinded this one, and the new motion is to table until we have a full application.
Complete application on Jackie Laura.
Yes.
I'll get it yet. Michelle Franklin. Rebecca Kern.
Aye.
Julie True.
Aye.
Judy Strong, yes. Charles Thomas.
Okay, now we go on to discussion, E5.
Motion,
You doesn't have to make a
Doesn't
motion,
have
it's
to
just a
have a motion,
discussion.
it's a discussion.
discussion on
You're gonna speak to E5?
Yes.
Prior to Julie's discussion, Linda's requested, communications regarding the parent club. So in the matter of transparency, all people will receive the same on the board.
it. Excuse me. I'm gonna look at this first.
Discussion.
Complete yet.
Those, I mean, you guys know that at a meeting, I don't remember which date that meeting was, but I did request parent club minutes. I have said, before I was elected and since I've been elected, that I educate myself prior to any votes. And so by hearing issues, I requested these minutes. In the minutes, it states that there is, excuse me, approval for playground repair. Marilyn Garrison motion to approve around $1,000 to repair broken equipment, and Donna Burns second that motion. Smart boards. Marilyn Garrison motion to approve $5,500 to purchase 2 smart boards to complete 3rd grade, and Donna Burns second that motion. Picnic tables. Marilyn Garrison motion to approve $2,200 to buy picnic tables, and Desi Red second that motion. And that's the only motions we have on this minutes. So I looked into the fact that, let's go into picnic tables. Picnic tables were donated. This all started, I mean, you can see on these FOIA requests, it's no surprise to anyone that the restructuring of the parent clubs and to a PTO begun at the beginning of the year. The discussion started, things started talking about, parent clubs were notified, obviously, through emails with Mr. Bennett. The bank account is, as of, I believe, July, what is this one? The bank account was never stopped, it was never terminated, the bank account's still there, from what I can see. The money is still under LaSalle. According to the July bank account, the account states $11,231.26. So, where I kind of I wanted information. I wanted to understand why these parents felt that this money wasn't being spent on these items. There was also an estimate done from Brad Bennett for playground equipment repair. the estimate that I received was for $1,600, $1,609. Well, that's a lot more than the around $1,000 to repair broken equipment that was approved by the parent club. So, from what I understand, the playground equipment, through diligence of the maintenance workers at LaSalle, it has been repaired for a whole lot less than even $1,000, because it wasn't a full slide that needed to be replaced. It was a part of the slide that needed to be replaced. So this estimate that Brad got is not, you know. And then as far as smart boards, the research that I did came up with 3rd grade already had one. There was an extra one sitting at Parkview that wasn't being used that could be transferred to 3rd grade, and they needed one to finish 3rd grade. So
regardless, the club made the motion to spend the money.
to complete 3rd grade,
And that's how the motion read?
yes.
I thought you said 2 smart.
It says 2 smart boards to complete 3rd grade. Well, 3rd grade doesn't need 2 smart boards. They only needed 1.
Okay.
And then the picnic tables were donated. So there is no, I mean, I don't understand where people think this money is gone. It's not gone. It's there.
But who are we as a board to even examine what they made their motions for? They earned the money. If they voted.
Money is raised in the name of an agency, a nonprofit, or a district, Linda. You know that.
It is.
There is no, money does not belong to you or to me individually.
That's right.
So the purpose of raising money, the purpose of our donors is to give money to children. The money is being given to children. The only thing we did not do is landscaping.
It's
It
not
is-
even on here.
It is not appropriate for a district to raise money from the people of the community with the intent of assisting children and spend it on landscaping.
But
It's the only thing that was not done.
landscaping's not even
So,
approved.
The point of putting it on the agenda is to put it to rest. The money is exactly where it was. It is spent for the purposes that are indicated. There is no problem.
But the parent club members' names alone are not on the account anymore.
Incorrect.
Is that correct?
No, it told you right in your packet tonight.
I
that's
saw,
And that is the fiduciary responsibility of a district when funds don't match. And if
and
you
the
read,
president of the parent club, the LaSalle Parent Club, can that president write a check with this treasurer's name on it? 2 signatures.
not when the
Can they?
president bounces checks.
That
It is
has
our-
nothing to do
It
with
has
this.
everything
No,
to
it
do with
doesn't.
this. Excuse me.
In your
Our
personal
job-
life,
Our job is to secure funds when there is reason. And we went through every opportunity.
Excuse me, we're trying to hold a board meeting.
Okay, but that was confidential.
It
Okay,
is
everybody
not
in this
confidential information.
room, the president is.
We just FOIA'd the information. The whole world has all this information.
which has
I
nothing
made-
to do with the parent club.
And it has everything to do with the parent club, Mrs. Bailey. I made every opportunity to be circumspect, to be professional, to protect and to guard. Even after 6 months of being assaulted, it was my job to investigate this account. And we did that.
And when was the audit completed? When she had it since May 20th?
That's not for me to say. It's not my account. I've received no call. It's a reconciliation. What is important is that we have a bank statement that will indicate the money is available and it can be spent on that which was indicated. The purposes of having a CPA review it is so in the future we can design best practices for accounting for those funds which includes and is up to things like asking for receipts prior to giving out cash. You can read the newspaper on a weekly basis anymore and determine that people are not responsible for the funds. Not on purpose. I'm not accusing anybody of anything. But it is our job to protect donors' money, and that's exactly what I did. Whether it's popular or not, I am here to serve this community and these children, and that is exactly what I did.
Also, in the letter from Miller, Holland, Triggs that's in your packet, it does call attention to the policy numbers, the one that was in effect, and I believe I'll read that so that those that want to quote such off the record quotes are incorrect. It says that it appears the Creve Coeur School Board has adopted policy number 890. However, the version of that policy currently contained in the district's policy manual has been modified to such an extent that all meaningful provisions pertaining to the oversight of PTOs by the board have been eliminated. For that reason, I strongly recommend that policy number 890, currently contained in the district's policy manual, be replaced by the attached version of policy 890.
And can I point out
Yes.
the policy that is currently in our book was approved in 2005.
Right.
So
Way
this
before.
current board was not here in 2005.
And this current board has not taken the attorney's advice and adopted this policy yet, and that was in May. So what have you been
Well,
doing?
this is a PTO.
We've been answering Freedom of Information Act and FOIAs. I think we're up to 23 now for FOIAs and 6 Attorney General violations. And matter of fact, that's why you don't have your packet prepared and bound, because we spent 8 hours Friday answering inappropriate and incorrect allegations.
Okay, this board, do you agree that this board made a motion to move the Parkview and LaSalle Parent Club money into the district account?
No.
That
No, we
motion
did
was
not,
made, you better go back and
but
look.
we didn't do it.
But you made the motion, did you rescind it? It's still there. You made the motion, the board,
You have to give more.
By a majority?
clarification to that. Tell me what month you're
Now,
talking about.
We'll go back
and look.
because what that motion would have intended was incorrect. The motion would have put the stream of parent club funds commingled with district money. That's inappropriate. When I talk to the CPA and when I talk to the attorneys, it is inappropriate to commingle your volunteer money with your district money.
I
The account
agree.
should remain separate,
The
and so
motion
it
was
did.
made. Do you have the minutes with you?
You know,
So we rescind
Mrs.
the
Bailey?
motion.
No, I do not, unless they're back.
And we'll look, we'll rescind the motion, but again, it is our job to do what is in the best
Mrs.
interest of
Bailey, are
children.
you sitting on this board? When you said we didn't rescind it, I hear your voice most of the time telling us when we're not doing correctly, which I appreciate because.
That is the meeting
Okay,
that
why
you
didn't you
moved
mention
and I
it?
wasn't there.
Oh, you weren't there.
I was not there at
Many
that
times.
meeting.
We will pull up that information,
That was a
Mrs.
spring
Bailey,
meeting.
and
Okay,
rescind the
please do.
motion.
So
If you'll
is
make
Parkview
note of
Parent
that.
Club's money in with LaSalle's?
Nobody's money is moved anywhere. This is ridiculous.
We just can't.
6 months we've been talking about this. It is a done conversation. The money is exactly where it always was. I have said it to you repeatedly. I've said it to the news media. I've said it in public and in private. The money is exactly where it was, being spent for exactly what it was intended.
So
This is all political propaganda.
So where is the popcorn money going? Somebody mentioned popcorn. Where is that money going? Into the LaSalle account? The same one? Or do you have a different one?
We are going to develop a general combined school, one for Creve Coeur Community and Children was recommended to us to call it PACE, Parents and Community Engaged for Children. That's what we want to do. That's what we do when churches are now calling us to do a snack pack program. When we look at feeding our children that are hungry with the Tender Mercies program. When we are working with people that want to be mentors for us and literacy volunteers.
Back to the parent club.
There is no such thing as a parent club.
Did
It was
this board-
abolished.
With what motion? Where did they make a motion to
We
disband?
will look it up for you.
Please do.
We made the motion in a positive way, if you look back in the minutes, to combine into a district-wide parent organization, and it was voted.
Where is it? Where is it?
We're getting there.
Oh,
The
okay.
reason we haven't gotten there completely is parents do not want to be engaged in feeling assaulted, feeling confronted by the negative, angry voices. We were hoping that they would be quieted so we can do the good work of our district for our children.
So is there still a Parkview Parent Club?
There's nothing, Michelle, there's nothing.
So.
There
there's
is no
meetings,
conversation.
No, there's no meetings. We've not had a meeting. No one has had a meeting.
We are just beginning.
So you have all these wonderful volunteers, all these wonderful people in the schools helping, now you have nothing. Are you proud of that? That was a good
That's
decision.
not the truth.
That's not the truth, Linda. We have everything.
You're on the board, so it was a decision by the board. We are
That's right.
act as one,
She
we
wasn't
don't act
here.
as an
She wasn't
individual.
here.
We
That
have,
was the spring meeting you guys changed right before, a week before. 2
we
weeks
have
before.
about 24 applications having background checks right now. We have people that have stood up and met with me and are in agreement to be in charge of various roles and responsibilities. We are moving forward, but because of the contentious environment, we are being discreet and conservative in our approach, because I am protecting those people that are working for us and our children.
So it's not transparent.
I believe it was discussed at a board evaluation training with Dean Langdon about how we were one board and how even though we agree to disagree, we need to work together as one board. And this whole back and forth thing of you made the decision and you did this
But out of
is
this-
inappropriate. I'm
But we
sorry.
didn't, no, some of us are being left out. We knew nothing about 3
Exactly.
board members.
How many times did you leave me out?
Only when you
How many
started-
times, and you talk about a lawyer, how many times did Mr. Scott tell you, advise you not to do what you did?
Not once,
Oh, bull.
not once.
Yeah.
Try again.
Would you like me to bring him in and let him
Please
report
do.
you what he told me?
Please do.
I think the point is that we are continuing to work in the best interest of our staff and our students. And it's time to put this matter to rest and move on and heal.
I'd like to comment to something Julie said. If we're supposed to be working as one board, why is it being said that Mrs. Bailey, Mrs. Archdale, myself are here to ruin the board and ruin the community?
I don't go by rumors. It's being said by who?
You told
Yourself.
me. You
I
told
said
me.
that?
You said that in my driveway. That was your exact words.
We're not doing
She
this.
was
Wow.
in my driveway. It's
We're
like
not
those
doing
exact
this.
words.
Jeannie,
No
I have an
rumor.
issue.
Can I make a quote by John F. Kennedy, please? It's change is the law of life, and those who look only in the past or present are certain to miss the future. Change happens, and people need to just, I mean, honestly, we're dwelling on the past, and we need to get over it and move forward to the future. And the only way to do that is to stop dwelling in the past. It happened. It's the past, it's over. So, can we move forward with this?
Well, when I hear rumors, and I'm gonna call it a rumor because I wasn't there,
That's,
that you
That's-
went to Mrs. Bauer's house and delivered a letter from.
This is
The board.
inappropriate. This is no, it was from the attorney. This is an inappropriate
from the attorney.
discussion, and it is personal.
There was
Now,
nothing from,
this is not on the agenda. We are not discussing this. I will not be threatened. I will not be disrespected in my own building.
Oh my God.
That was the source of the letter. There is witness to the behavior, and we can discuss it privately if necessary. We are not acting on rumor. I do not act without decisive, thoughtful action with counsel.
My point was the whole board didn't know anything about this, and I said it was a rumor. I wasn't sure it happened. But
I can
apparently it did.
demonstrate.
the point
This has
of
nothing to
is
do with the parent
this
club.
board in the past has functioned on rumors and rumors and rumors. And it's, people need to get over the rumors. A lot of things get said, in emotion. I'm sure everything that's said here tonight will be taken out of context and posted on YouTube. And there will be bits and pieces of the conversations, and it will be incorrectly represented to the community. So,
Perception is
but
reality.
that's,
it.
that's rumors right there.
All right.
I
So,
think we need to
Yeah.
move on.
Okay,
I'm
moving
just
on.
stating what the parent club gave me, and I read it to you.
I need a motion for E6. This was read.
Mr. President, I make a motion regarding posting the audio and video recordings of the Board of Education meetings on the school website.
Is there a second?
I second.
Discussion.
Question, by whom? Cost? I mean, you mentioned Channel 22, is that?
We're still pursuing all of this, but in light of the fact that we have propaganda website, we have postings that are inaccurate. I haven't spent much time on that site, but I'm sure you're familiar with it. And
Sorry, I haven't had the time either.
pieces and parts of articles are there. It's incorrect information. It's purposefully deceptive. It's not clear. I think we want to be totally transparent. We've done a lot of tremendous work here, and that's what I want to talk about. The tremendous work we have done as a staff, as a board, to move this community and these children forward. And people's political agenda needs to be put aside. This is about our kids and their future. And quite frankly, it makes me very angry that we risk the future of our children for political gain. So let's put it on the website. Let's get an audio tape right now. And certainly we've had enough audio tapes in the past. And Holly Callahan will work with Mark Laswell from Channel 22, who's already committed to assisting her in getting a clear picture. If we can't afford them, they've already taken the matter to their board for review. I have no idea what the final proposal will be. But I want this public to see how hard we work and what we do and how far we have come for our kids. Because, you know, that's what I hear from the professionals that come into this building. What tremendous staff we have. How proud parents are that their kids go to school here. That's the majority of the conversation I have with people. And this has been about what we are for the last 6 months. And it's time to put that down and to open the conversation to the community, the real conversation to the community.
Is there a cost for this? That was my only
Not
question.
today.
Okay, thank you.
But when the Channel 22 proposal is complete, we will bring it to the board.
Any other discussion? Roll call.
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Michelle Franklin.
Aye.
Rebecca Kern.
Aye.
Julie True.
Aye.
Judy Strong, yes, and Charles Thomas.
Aye.
Motion carried.
This time we are going into communications. Principals' reports, please.
I'll start. The South teachers and staff are working diligently to ensure the best possible education for each student. Grade levels lead teachers meet with me periodically to discuss student achievement and issues around the school. Teachers are working in teams to collect and analyze data with the assistance of Becky Bullard, our reading interventionist, and Amanda May, our psychologist. The data is being used to create intervention groups during their RTI times to provide needed supports in areas of reading for like fluency, comprehension, phonics, phonemic awareness, vocabulary assistance. Jeannie Williamson continues to work with our special ed teachers on a collaborative teaching model and using data to inform their instruction. And overall, I'm really proud of the LaSalle staff. They've really done a great job starting the year off. It seems to be going very well, and it's clear that student achievement is really their priority. I'm very proud of them.
Like at LaSalle Park, our teachers are spending a lot of time after school reviewing ISAT data, looking for ways to improve instruction and to help raise student achievement. And we're spending a lot of time on that. In October, we're going to be kicking off, it's going to be kind of a year-long ISAT theme. We're calling it Crusade for the Grade. Mr. Kleesner is really spearheading in that. And just so that the ISAT testing is constantly on our minds, and even though it's not until March, but we're constantly building towards that. MAT testing begins tomorrow. We finally have that up and running, so we'll be able to, we're looking forward to get that started so we can look at that data to see where students are at. Next week, Kathy Harvey from the Center for Prevention of Abuse will be doing a cyberbullying class with all the Parkview students. And one thing I'm very proud of, you probably saw it on TV, really cyberbullying at Parkview, it's not being reported. It's happening. Students are not reporting it to us. At one point it was a major problem, and that stopped. We've had no major cyberbullying issues reported to us since last February. So I really credit the staff for teaching personal relationship skills, and also for the Center for Prevention of Abuse for everything that they do. Our baseball season ended last week, and girls basketball is their first game next Monday. And we'll have boys basketball starting shortly after that. We had student council elections, so we'll be getting very busy here very quickly. And that's all I have.
Before I end my short presentation, Mrs. Bailey FOIA'd Julie McCardle's contract. It was initially requested. I ask that you remind me again. If you haven't followed me around, please do. The three of us in the office work very, very hard, and I get many, many requests to FOIA a board member. For a board member to FOIA, to me, it's a nonsense. It makes no sense.
Because I asked August 1st, Mrs. Davis.
And so ask again, because unfortunately, all this does is make you the priority. And I don't know what you need Julie's contract for.
I explained that, only to file it. I had Mr.
Okay,
Jovish's,
so
I had yours, I wanted hers.
So Friday, for instance, we spent 8 hours on an Open Meetings Act violation. We're working on broken pipes and moving buildings and putting Head Start in.
How many times would you like me to request things?
You know
Just
what?
tell me that, and I'll do that.
Just as often as you'd like, Mrs. Bailey.
Alrighty then.
But all a FOIA does is force us to stop our work to address your concern. So if your concern is to get a piece of paper that you're going to stick in a file, I would suggest that the community would like me to use my time better than that and do what is the work of the district, the important work of the district. The reason you didn't get it the first time was because the signature, one of the signatures wasn't on it. It is not a purposeful, no matter what is decided here. No one is purposefully ignored. Information is not purposefully kept. We work extremely hard and long hours, contrary to the comments of some people. We put in a big, long day, and if you doubt that, check the time and the date stamps on my different emails. They start very early in the morning, and they are finished very late at night, and they are most often on weekends. So the fact that I did not have a piece of paper that you want to file is, to me, not significant enough to go through a Freedom of Information Act request. Now, having said that, I am delighted that the Head Start Center is complete. We are waiting for a sign-off from the architect. We have renewed this relationship with Head Start as a children's center in our community, and that's what we should talk about, and that's what we should be celebrating. Then thanks to Jan and Stacy Thomas, the Key Sweaters and the Harpers, our cheerleaders and warriorettes are participating in the East Peoria Parade with a float that they assembled in the Harpers garage with 17 children participating. Jan and I were out buying crepe paper on Friday night. And as silly and as non-consequential as that appears to most, that's where I want to be spending my time. To do things that excite children and bring families together in healthy fun to support our school and our greater community. Jeannie Williamson is giving us rave reviews about the Parkview staff. She's agreed to present her strategies for ISAT to the board in October. Even though we're transitioning to the Common Core, it's important that we consider ISAT because the general public and the state still measures us by that yardstick. So we are working on those strategies with her assistance. She is excited to be with the staff. She comments about the Parkview staff's energy and willingness, and I am proud of their work. Carrie Gold and I are working to begin our wellness committee. Parkview will begin their grab-and-go breakfast soon, and hopefully we can convene parents for the annual Walk to School Day on October the 3rd.
Informational items, enrollment counts.
It's just, I mean, these are just FYIs in case anybody wants to.
Yeah, I like them. Okay.
656 students.
Well, what's the percentage of the ability out of here?
Oh, you have anywhere from 20% to the 1 year we had 50% in kindergarten. Parkview's not right.
No, I said it's in our packet.
Oh, Parkview's in our packet and LaSalle is a loose leaf. And what I asked Stephanie to do was just simply staple it, not bind it, so that you can reform this packet for those of you that like to keep it in your files. And it'll be complete and in one place.
156.
Yes, the tax increment financing district is proposed. It's in here. LaSalle is included in the new TIP proposal. There is a meeting coming up that Chuck and I have been asked to attend. I've done some preliminary investigation. I am in no way, shape, or form a TIF expert. We are receiving TIF money. It is at the Tazewell clerk's office. A rebate from the past TIF that we had. It was a reapportionment of money, and I've mentioned that before. This is not the same conversation. This is a new TIF, and if you look at the map, it includes LaSalle School. Now, I understand they don't need our vote to approve it or to include our school, so it leaves me a little confused. It does offer an open door for an intergovernmental agreement if we decided to do additional construction on that, in that area. I don't know the pros and cons, and I guess when I deal with something this complex, that's simply what I need to ask the lawyer in charge, is what are the benefits to us, if there are any, and what are any negative issues. I don't see any negative issues at this point. We're not taxed, we're not losing anything, and understand in a TIF, they freeze the money that you receive. We're not going to get less money, But if they redevelop that property and it becomes more valuable, we don't see that benefit for 20-some years.
So actually, we would be losing money.
Well,
As
no.
taxes go up, just your normal increase.
Well, yes and no, because they will argue that if you don't redevelop the property, you're going to lose the money, you're gonna lose even more money. I mean, that's the argument. It doesn't always hold true in every case. So we're gonna have some more conversation about what this means before the vote.
Is this not the right time to ask? You mentioned that refund.
No, you can ask. I don't understand why we don't have it. We were supposed to have it in May, then in June, then in August. They have the money. I do know that for a fact. It's around $200,000. We were gonna use it to improve the technology at LaSalle, but I'm afraid we're going to use it to balance our budget.
The village has it, or
No, the
the county?
county.
Okay.
The county has it. I've double checked twice. And why they're holding it, I don't know. I know there was a debacle with the ICC rebate, and I know that's slowing down their daily work, but I think it's time that that money was released to us. So what conference schedule, is it in there? I didn't see it in there.
No, didn't make it.
The conference schedule's not even in there. We have to get it in there. It's online. That conference schedule is referring to the triple I. I'll have to write that down and get the
Assembly, summary.
That's the packet you received from the IASB. You should have gotten this in your box. I think Julie and Cherie went last year. This is your ability to give voice at the state level to matters that concern education.
Budget session,
Reminder of the budget session next Monday night. Linda submitted some questions. I have given all questions to Guy Cahill. He and I will partner this week and talk about any concerns. And he's going to talk to you about the challenges we face. I told you early on that on any matter that's controversial or complex, I will bring you experts as often as possible. And I think it's imperative that we understand the severity of the financial situation in the district.
Just sharing my questions that I already gave you with the rest of the board so that we don't ask the same stuff. I'm sorry, Michelle. There's some for the audience, and here's what I'm gonna ask. And Mrs. Davis has had notice.
Well, I don't know what the point is to...
Well, if we all have the same question, why
Well, I'm
not?
sure the audience doesn't have the questions, and oftentimes some of these questions are based on not understanding code.
Yes.
Here. Not understanding how things are coded.
No.
It's probably best with the misinformation continually spreaded, that we make sure that we are accurate in our reporting prior to giving information. And so these questions need to be responded to first, and then the community is invited to the answers. And that's why I'm bringing in a man that does this for a living. He's a CPA, he's a chief financial officer, he's represented District 150, Pekin, Galesburg, and he is best able to address the challenges we are going to face, particularly if the pension is placed upon us. It will put an additional burden of $250,000 onto this district. We all have to have lots of conversations and a high degree of communication and trust, which is why at this point in our life, it is imperative that what we pay attention to is important and the issues are directly impacting the kids we teach and the employees that we're responsible to protect. So I hope that we have a good meeting next Monday and that every other issue is set aside and that we look at every option to forward a balanced budget. Now, if you read the paper often, and I do, very few districts are able to do that this year. And those that have levied working cash funds. We have not increased our indebtedness, and only by reforming programs, creatively working together, developing partnerships, and forwarding grants, have we been able to forward, just by the skin of our teeth, a balanced budget. But that's not a promise. Because if any surprise happens, and we can only predict, I can't predict the future. We can only predict.
You're very tight.
We're
You did a
tight.
good job on the budget.
We worked very, very hard. But I want us to not be over eager. And that's the message I'm sending to the staff as well. So next Monday is the budget session at 6 o'clock with Guy Cahill.
Student activity account.
That's just, I don't know, somebody always wants that. That's, I don't know, I
It's in
think,
the packet.
yeah, and there's one loose leaf, isn't there? No?
No, I think it's all in the packet. It's in the packet.
Oh, yeah, because LaSalle doesn't really have one. And then the last one. Yeah, G7. Ready for G7 is Public Act 97-742. We began this year 5 hours of instruction on the first and last day of school. Goes into effect next year. We began it this year, and I received positive feedback both from staff and students and parents particularly, that they felt like it wasn't a wasted day. That we released early, and certainly we are going to have to readdress the heat schedule. The second floor of this building is unbearable. There's classrooms at LaSalle that are just uninhabitable when it's that hot. And hopefully, through the dismal economic future, we can see the bright light of our construction money coming due. At the same time, our bonds will come due, and we can set our sights on air conditioning these buildings for our staff and for our kids.
Anything else? Okay, I make a motion to adjourn.
Mr. President, make a motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call.
Linda Bailey.
Aye.
Michelle Franklin. Rebecca Kern. Julie True.
Aye.
Julie Strong. Yes, Charles Thompson.
Aye. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you.